I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC number one ranked welterweight contender Colby Chaos Covington describes how he will react to winning the UFC welterweight title at UFC 296. You are not going to see me crying. Colby Chaos Covington is not planning to make UFC 296 an emotional affair, despite plenty of criticism directed at UFC for its decision to give Colby Chaos Covington the title. Chaos Covington will get his third shot at the undisputed welterweight title next month in Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. Having fallen short on two separate occasions against Kamaru Usman, Chaos Covington is now tasked with unseating the man who finally brought the reign of Kamaru the Nigerian Nightmare Usman to an end, Leon Rocky Edwards. Leon Edwards' crowning came last August at UFC 278 in Salt Lake City, Utah, where a last round head kick left Kamaru Usman unconscious on the canvas. What followed was a, quote, heartwarming and emotional post-fight celebration and interview. But according to Covington, such a reaction shows surprise at the moment. Covington on planned title crowning. I won't freak out like I didn't expect to do it. During a recent interview with UFC.com, Covington looked ahead to his collision with Edwards at the December 16th UFC 296 pay-per-view. Believing that his rise to the throne is inevitable, the former interim welterweight title holder has told fans not to expect any tears as he has the welterweight gold wrapped around his waist. This is what Colby Chaos Covington says. You are not going to see me crying or freaking out like I didn't expect to do it. I'm prepared, and I know that I'm the best fighter on the planet Earth at welterweight. And in the UFC right now, it's going to be like I expected it. Okay. This is what he says. This is not about the destination. It's about the journey to me. I've had a great journey and developed a lot. Covington continued. No one has seen what I've been doing and how hard I've been working every single day with the blood, sweat, and tears I've put in. December 16th, the world is in for a rude awakening. All my haters are going to be salty. Okay, is there anything else we have to go? I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, this is an interesting interview. I wanted to do this story because we've heard a few stories about Colby Chaos Covington in the last few months. A few fighters have come out and said that they thought he was going to retire if he loses this fight. Obviously, he's not going to talk about his reaction if he loses. He's not putting it out there that, it's even on the table. But we did have a former fighter, I think he may have retired. Matt Brown came out and said that he thought Colby Chaos Covington was going to retire if he loses. And then Colby Chaos Covington came out and took a crazy shot about someone in Matt Brown's family. I'm not going to get into that. And then Bilal Muhammad came out recently and said he thought Chaos Covington was, one, going to lose this fight, and two, going to retire if he loses this fight. But Colby Chaos Covington, listen, I am an MMA casual, so I don't remember everything in the sport, but Colby Chaos Covington did have a title wrapped around his waist before he won the title. It was either against Damian Maia or it was against RDA in the world. I can't remember. Like I said, I'm a casual, but it was one of those two fights that Colby Chaos Covington won the belt. And I think in the promo, he was, I think it was when President Trump was still in office, and then he was talking about going to the White House with the UFC championship. I remember when he went to the White House with President Trump and he took photos with President Trump and stuff like that. And he didn't cry during that interview. I think he called, that's what he said during the post-fight press conference, that, I know I was going to win this fight, and then, I'm basically going to take this belt to, the White House. So I don't know if he's going to say that. Obviously, he's not going to say that this time, but he did talk about President Trump being at this event. So I'm pretty sure if Colby Chaos Covington wins this fight, he's going to shout out President Trump and say, vote for Trump, and next year Trump will be president and things like that. But yeah, I don't expect him. It doesn't seem like he's gonna cry. I don't see him crying. I don't expect that. But, I was just wondering what's going to happen if he loses, right? Like, he has won the interim title, but, being 0 for 3 for the undisputed title, what does he do after this fight if he loses to Leon Edwards? He's kind of setting it up. If he wins, he wants a fight versus Islam Makhachev, who's the current UFC lightweight champion, right? So, you could see what happens if Colby wins, but also what happens if Colby wins and then Usman? Where's Usman in the rankings? Is Usman gonna move up to the middleweight division, or will Usman come back and be like, hold on, this guy that I beat twice is the UFC welterweight champion right now? Let me get another title shot. So that's a possibility. I don't know if a rematch versus Leon Edwards would be on the table. Bilal Muhammad is the number one contender. You also, on the UFC 296 card, you have a bunch of welterweights. You have Wonderboy Thompson versus my boy Shakov Rakhmonov. Shakov Rakhmonov is undefeated, 17-0. All of his fights has ended by TKO or KO, so that's going to be a good fight. You also have Ian Gary versus Vicente Luque, right? So there's a lot of welterweights in that circle on that card. Does Colby Covington fight one of them? Does Colby Covington fight Bilal Muhammad? Does Colby Covington fight Kamaru Usman? Does Colby Covington fight Islam Makhachev? So, if Colby Covington wins, obviously the future is very bright, and he has a lot of opponents already lined up for him. Leon Edwards came out a few days ago. I don't know if he was just trolling, but he was talking about fighting the winner of the middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. I don't see that fight happening anytime soon. I would imagine if Leon Edwards win, he probably most likely will fight Bilal Muhammad in his next fight. But let me know your opinion of this story. Like I said, I'm an MMA casual, so what the hell do I know? But I have to say this. I don't think I've ever rooted for Colby Covington in any fights, but for this fight, for some reason, I'm picking Colby Covington to defeat Leon Edwards, right? So my question would be, who do you think is going to win? It doesn't matter who's going to be emotional and things like that. Who do you think is going to win the fight? Are you team Colby Chaos Covington, or are you team Leon Rocky Edwards? I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about UFC number 1 ranked welterweight contender Colby Chaos Covington describes how he will react to winning the UFC title at UFC 296. You are not going to see me crying. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.